Okay, folks, welcome to Thursday Night Stock Charts Live. I wish I could have my video up, but for whatever reason, it won't work again. So, my apologies for being late. And I can't be on camera, but I can't get it to work. I fixed it the other day. Now it won't work again. Okay. Hey, Jedi. Good to have you, brother. Pat, hello. Danny, hello. Young, hello. I got to check out requests. So, Intel reported earnings after hours. Oh, by the way, for those just joining in first time here, welcome aboard. And what we do on Thursday nights is chill, relax, and we take a look at the weekly charts to identify how we might be closing out the week. And that gives us a glimpse into how we might be setting up for the new trading week. So, Intel reported earnings after hours, and while the numbers were okay, the problem was their margins. And for those not familiar with semiconductors or semiconductor companies, their margins are everything. And they got whomped. Oliver, hello. Will, hello. Can you folks hear me? Oh, boy. Oh, you can? Okay, good. I thought you couldn't hear me. All right, cool. I thought I had problems with the audio as well. All right, so the margins on Intel. Tommy, hi. Thanks for the Brinks breakdown. Just caught the reply since. I never seem to get the... Okay. Pre-drag. Reload page. If you cannot hear Bob. Good stuff. Trish, hello. Pat, hello. All right, great. So again, I wish I could have a video. It's ticking me off. But I will figure it out. All right, let's segue over to... So we began to see some weakness in the markets. And I think it's worthy of pointing out because we haven't spoken about valuation or how extended we are on stocks in quite some time because, frankly, it hasn't mattered. And it's just, I hate this saying, but it just is what it is. You have a lot of easy money out there driving stocks up higher. You have the Federal Reserve in buying junk bonds, for Christ's sakes. Lord knows what they're going to buy next. You have an implied threat by the Federal Reserve that if we dive, they'll be in there buying stocks or index funds one day. But I thought it worthy of pointing out, now that we see a little bit of weakness on the triple Q names, of which you're now short, that through, I guess it's around the beginning to mid-July, it's been these 5 names, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google, that have been up 35%, leading the charge, with the S&P 500 up 2%. And the remaining companies are still down. 495 companies still down, well below where they should be. Now, taking a look, at the price action today on volatility, it really surged. This is the VIX daily chart, and we recaptured support. Granted, we gave up a little bit of leeway, but we did close above support. And when you take a look on a quarterly basis, we're pulling back, but the question has to be asked, and it's this: are we setting up for a higher low? Daily chart. Nice little bounce here this week. A very nice bounce. And we are back above daily chart now. Back above resistance. Now, I don't think we're going to have a straight shot higher. There's been a lot of damage done here to the VIX. I think that we're going to pull back and do a retest. And we'll see at that point if it holds. If it does, it could mean a good amount of selling. So let's just keep a close eye on the VIX. We've been watching it very, very closely. And adding to what we're watching, I've been talking about, let me refresh this. I've been talking about, in particular more with members, the 10-year yield going into the week. When you took a loan, you didn't take a look at the price action. If you took a look, and I'll explain why this is important in a moment. When you take a look at RSI, it was trading in a tight trading range and threatening to break out. Stokes were setting up for a possible higher low and a bump up higher for a breakout. Now, taking a look at price, you could see how we closed out the week last week and the prior week, teasing this lower band of support. Now, this week, we have broken down below the lower band of support. That's what's allowed commodities to rip through the ceiling. Now, as I always say on Thursday nights, one trading day left to go. So what we'll be doing on Saturday when we get together with members is asking the question, how did we close out the week and what's our game plan for the following week? Because all too often I revisit the charts on Saturday with a reminder note in the back of my head of what they look like, meaning the charts on Thursday, and I say, wow, that day really did make a big difference. And what I thought was going to be our game plan Thursday night is entirely changed now. So keep an eye on how we close out the week here because it matters. If you're long of gold, you're long of silver, it matters dramatically. Because as the yield drops, the desire for gold and silver simply grows exponentially. Because eventually they're going to admit to some inflation. I mean, it's here, but it's only going to get worse. And if you want to take a look at an individual name, here's a tale of two charts after earnings. Here's Intel. Actually, we'll do three charts. Here's Microsoft. These are 15-minute charts. Breaking down lower highs, potential for a lower low on Microsoft. Now take a look at AUY. Not a great day, normal hours, but they reported. What's going on here? Okay. They reported after hours and the shares popped. What did they do with their dividend? They increased their dividend. So these guys are making money and they're going to be paying it out. This is going to be the place to be. I think there's a strong possibility that the mega cap tech trade may be done for a while. Let's go over to the weekly charts. Trish, were you able to get audio? Hopefully. Now, as we always do, every Thursday, as sure as God made green little apples. Did you buy? I saw your text, Pat. You bought Nikola? Good, Trish. Glad to hear. Cool. Okay. So the yield curve dropping down yet again. Lots of topping action here. And currently, this type of price action, or traditionally, this type of price action wouldn't send stocks lower. You worry about when the yield curve inverts, when it breaks out. So, not much to worry about here. Now, the bond market, I mentioned earlier, we were watching to see whether or not we would see a spike up in yields. Well, the 20-year bond ETF, it broke out yesterday, continuation breakout today, and it looks like it wants to go higher. This is a beautiful chart. So I doubt we're going to get a pullback on yields, but you never know. I mean, a rally on yields, but you never know. The 10-year yield, we already went over this chart. Let's skip it. Tips. Lots of indecision here. This is a daily chart. Let's go to a weekly chart first. We'll drill down. And the reason why I'm spending so much time talking about bonds and yields is because we did quite well in the silver trade. And in fact, we even went short yesterday, booked a profit today. And with the silver miners, we scaled out a bit, booking some profits. I doubt we're going to be all out, at least for now. But the tips, a good week. You can see a bit of a fade here. Volume is okay. Daily chart. And why do the tips matter? It's a measure of inflation fear. And you can see multiple days of filled candlesticks. This is a sign of indecision. So I think there's a chance we get a pullback. Perhaps we'll just retest the breakout point. We hit all-time highs yesterday. And it's this fear of inflation that'll keep the gold rally alive and well. US dollar, this is a monthly view. Absolutely and utterly annihilated. I'm surprised it took this long. We are at current down below support. Few trading days left to go. We'll see whether or not we close down below support. Or do we rally to recapture and close above it? Weekly chart. A clear break here. I mean, I could easily see us popping here on Stokes, but I think that'll have dead cat bounce written all over it. This is a bad, bad chart. Daily chart. Yeah, so we're moving in towards a resistance level. They'll probably try to defend this. It'll probably fail. But that rally may, just may, cause a sell-off in gold. I just want to check out how the correlation has changed. Yeah, a lot's changed here. Whereas a short while ago, back in June, it didn't matter if the dollar was up, down. They were trading, not that far apart. Now, there's a complete inverse correlation between the two. And it goes back to what it has traditionally. No great shock here. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Weekly chart. And we can expect more of this. So the reason why I bring this up is to get a feel for what will happen if we get a pop in the US dollar. Will gold correct? My guess is, in all probability, yes. I think that's an opportunity to step in and to add to a position, build a position. The VIX weekly chart, a reversal week thus far, and we are poised to close above the 25 mark. Higher lows on Ultimate Oscillator. Possible double bottom setup on our Stokes. Daily chart. A good day in that we would manage to close back above support. But as I mentioned earlier, I think we're probably going to pull back and retest the 25 mark. That's the OCD of traders. They're going to want to feel whether or not that holds. And if it does, then we'll be looking to probably add to our short position. The Dow Transports weekly chart. We broke out last week. We're retesting a breakout point this week. So it's a down week, but it's not a horrible week. Hey, TA. And while, yes, down, holding support, though. So the only thing I'll caution about with the transports is the same exact thing, and I've mentioned this to members, is that you're seeing, and this goes for the triple Qs, it goes for the S&P 500, you're seeing a negative divergence on the Ultimate Oscillator indicator. Oliver, A-bus, now bull market after market. All right, I'll take a look. Oliver's very emphatic. Let's go take a look at A-bus. Wow. What's the story there, Oliver? TA with you. Keep the faith, brother. Keep the faith. What's the news here? Confidential treatment. I guess it's a COVID play. Are you long of this, Oliver? Hopefully you are. Nice. Very nice. Oh, I see. Thanks, Andy. Moderna loses challenge of Arbutus patent on vaccine technology. Good stuff. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, TA. Or Oliver. Don't. All right. Let's go back to the transports for a moment. So here's the concern. Negative divergence. Go to the S&P 500 weekly chart. Negative divergence. And quite possibly on the S&P. I don't want to say it, but there's a good chance that this is a double top. Doesn't mean we're going straight down. But beware. I wouldn't be a buyer of stocks unless we manage to close above resistance. The small caps. Nice move, but stuck at resistance. We booked profits on the small caps the other day. What else are we seeing here? Negative divergence on Ultimate Oscillator. The banks up. And this is one of the reasons why I thought yields might spike, is because the banks have been rallying, shrugging off the weakness in yields. Question is, how much longer is this going to last with yields plunging? Technology, bearish reversal bar. Lower highs. Daily chart. Indicators are very weak. Volume rose. Semis are up on the week. But they're beginning to roll over on a daily basis now as well. Not horrible. Biotechs were rocked this week. Energy looking pretty good. Higher lows here. Technically, at current, they have broken out on the week. I wouldn't be a buyer just yet. But energy is something that I'll be watching for. Not a bad consolidation here at all. We broke out a couple of days ago. We're pulling back, dancing around. Here, I knew I had a chart set up. So as long as we hold this 37 mark, energy looks pretty interesting. Oil coming off the highs of the week, but up on the week. This declining 20-period moving average is going to act as resistance. Emerging markets. A lot of topping action here. 3 weeks in a row. Can't hold this resistance level at 55.22 on the EDC. Gold. What can you say? Volume rising. Look at where we're at relative to all-time highs. We're stone's throw away. Now, the ideal setup here is that we begin to pull back and form a downward sloping handle for a few weeks. And that'll set us up for a rally to new all-time highs. And once we rip above 1923.70, you're going to see, you want to talk about gold rush, you're going to see this market rip. The gold market's going to rip. Because there's no overhead supply, and plus the headlines are going to read gold all-time highs. So you need to have exposure to this sector. We are currently remaining long of the GDXJ. We did lighten up. You're seeing some topping action here. GDXJ, the junior miners. Uranium weekly chart. We bought uranium back here. It is now broken out. I wouldn't be a buyer just now. Got to wait and see whether or not we hold this breakout point at the 12 mark. Silver, we booked profits here. We're out of silver. We went short, booked profits for a quick scalp. But relative to gold, we have a long, long, long way to go to get back to 2011 highs. So I like gold. I love silver. Let's do some chart requests. The first one I have up is for Tony T, SQQQ. All right, for disclosure purposes, we are long of the SQQQ. The SQQQ puts you short of the triple Qs. It's a leveraged ETF, not for the faint of heart. I'm just going to go with a weekly chart here, because it's the weekly chart that makes all the difference. We did see a vicious sell-off, but this week we've managed to recapture a support level, and our Stokes are hooking up. The key to remember here is 1 day left to go. Daily chart. Now, we did move up a bit after hours on the Intel news. Oh, and by the way, what I'm using here is TrendSpider, the next generation of automated technical analysis. My spell check for technical analysis. There's a link below, 35% off if you'd like to get a subscription. So what I'd be looking for on the SQQQ is a pullback and a retest of support. If we spike up higher tomorrow, I'd be prone to booking half profits in anticipation of a pullback retest, and then maybe a resumption of the breakout. So we have broken out on a daily basis. The chart looks good. I wouldn't want to get overweight just now because the market is still in an uptrend. The Federal Reserve is still priming the pump. And we can't lose sight of that. So to come on here and pound the table that you need to get long of the SQQQ would not be a wise thing for me to do. So just be careful here. Enter with caution. And I wouldn't chase. Tommy, BCO. Oh, I did Brinks this morning. Okay. We'll take a look at it for you anyway. BCO. Why is it not coming up? Here, go over here. I didn't save it. Okay. Okay. Brinks. It's coming off the lows of the week. You've got good historical support below. Volume is still a bit too high to the downside. You're going to get a negative crossover, the 50-period moving average down below the 200-period moving average. I wouldn't worry too much about that, though. Not now, anyway. What I would worry is if and when we do rally, and you have the 50-period, which is still declining, that's going to act as a declining ceiling on the shares. But again, nothing to worry about right here, right now. So it's trying to put in higher lows. But it's just unable to prove it worthy of your investment dollar. Volume dropped off a bit. Me personally, to buy it here right now is to put your nickel down and hope that it rallies up and through resistance. Me personally, I'd rather do one of two things. Either wait for a close above the 40 mark or allow for a pullback and a retest of this lower band of support where there's a high probability, especially in this potentially extra volatile market, that we do pull back and retest. So, hey, Franklin. So I'd be very deliberate here. Wait for a breakout, wait for a pullback, one of the two, both. Doesn't matter, just use a stop loss right below 37.29 if you're buying on a pullback. And if we break this lower band of support, I would get out of Dodge really, really quick. Okay. Let me go to the top and take some requests from the audience. Tony, hello. INTC. Is it showing the after hours price action? Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it's not. All right, well, it's not going to show weekly price action on Thinkorswim. It's just going to show the after hours. You know, it's a disaster area. You know, I'm sure we're going to pop. We'll probably pop this evening at some point in time, if not tomorrow morning. I mean, at current on a 4-hour chart, you have RSI at 21. We're trading down below the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. So we should pop. But given the margin concerns, they're probably going to punish this stock for a while. So I wouldn't be a buyer. And I think they delayed a special chip that's coming out. Ugh. AMD, on the other hand, so it's so this is a great headline. Intel's 7 nanometer pains are AMD's gains. Very nice. And the semis are up on the week. Let's see what else we have. Bitcoin. All right, so Bitcoin I turned bullish on a few days ago. And it's when we broke out above resistance here on the 21st. And now we're moving up higher. I love the tight Bollingers. A little bit extended at current. I think at any pullback, it could be bought. We have a breakout on a weekly basis above the secondary downtrend line. Now we need to get through the primary upper band of resistance at or around, let's call it the 10,000 mark. Loving RSI, loving the Stokes. Both are hooking up. This is what you want to see. Very nice price action here. Volume could be better. Otherwise, really nice price action. Let's see what a monthly chart looks like. Very nice consolidation here. I think that Bitcoin's breaking out. Bullish. TA, I wouldn't hold out for that 6,100, brother. I love your optimism, though. All right, so Pat bought Nikola. Kid in a candy shop. I have to check the after hours price action because he said it was up. All right, up slightly. All right, this is where I think we're going. And I hope I'm wrong for your sake, Pat. I hope it goes to $1 million tomorrow. But I'd be a buyer. I would love to see a 29 handle on Nikola. Overshoot this 30 support level, then reverse to close above it. And I'd be a buyer. This is my price target. 30. It's a very weak stock. So please, wait for the 29 handle, please, to add more. Salt. For those folks just joining in, can I ask you to hit that like button? It really helps me out. I'd appreciate it. Thank you for joining. All right, salt monthly chart. Not looking good. A lot of resistance above here. We have a new monthly low. We're near the lows of the month. Weekly chart. Well, the key to a bottom is you need to stop going down first. So, you know, on a positive note, we haven't made a new weekly low. And we are putting in higher lows on RSI. I would really need to take a look at a daily chart to see if there's a trade here. Let's go to a daily chart. Okay. So a bit more constructive. So the market's kind of giving you an action plan already. Because as I always like to say, the market sends you signals. And the signal or the game plan is this, is that we've already set precedents here. I want to come back to RSI and talk about it. We've already set precedents for a breakout and then a failure. So to me, this resistance level is proven to be porous. So what does the stock need to do to be worthy of our investment dollar? Well, simply closing out the day above this resistance level means little to nothing. What it needs to do is now pull back, retest at least once, nibble there, stop loss right below the 13 mark, then add more on a continuation breakout. Now, what I want to point out with RSI is that we had broken out several days ago on RSI, even prior to this failed breakout. We broke out, and again, this is the market sending you a signal. And we've pulled back, and despite the fact that we failed to hold support, we bounced and we hockey stick back up on RSI. So here's a breakout, pullback, retest. I would expect the same for price. So the daily chart, there's a trade to be had here. Tight stop under 13. Enter with caution. PAS. What can you say? An absolutely beautiful chart, good company. However, I think we're going to pull back. Here's where I want to buy the shares, right here. I could be like TA and hoping for Bitcoin to put my bid in at 6,100 and get hit. I might not get that, but there's no harm in wishing. So we'll keep this active for a couple of weeks. Weekly chart. We're off the highs of the week, but no great shock. Silver is extended. It's very extended. I mean, take a look. This is why we shorted silver yesterday, is they gapped it up, and we had RSI at around 85 and change, and we would closed out the day above the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. So I said, screw it. Pardon my language. We went short using the SZL, I believe. SLZ? Shit. Anyway, I forget the symbol. And we broke profits this morning. Quick scalp. Nothing huge. So, going back to pause, how overbought did it get? Not too bad. Not bad at all, really. This is a daily chart. We're pulling back, holding support. Here's our alert down here. And again, I may not get it. Now, if yields spike, and this is what I've been hoping for, if yields spike, that's going to be the catalyst to send the metals lower. And then on that pullback, we'll be looking to back up the truck. All right, so we're good to go here. Good. Knack. Avoid. Monthly chart above third standard deviation Bollinger Band. That's an automatic avoid to me. Weekly chart. You can see how we got rejected at that upper band of the 3D Bollinger. It's a good chart. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking the stock. It's just ahead of itself. The thing to do is wait for the pullback. I love anything mineral mining right now. It's the place to be for the next couple of years. Daily chart. Nice bounce off of support. We were extended, but we bounced. We did not close at the lows of the day. So this may hold. Would I buy here? No, because we have to refer back to the monthly chart and where we're at. So this may hold. Tomorrow morning, it could spike up, humiliate me, because I said don't buy it right now. But longer term, I think it's going higher. It's a good looking chart across the board. Monthly chart a bit extended, weekly chart showing some selling pressure. So I'd just be careful. Okay, Tommy, BRZU. Let's see. Bear with me 1 second, folks. Tommy, that's a glitch, buddy. We're still in it. I know what I see what you're talking about. That's a glitch. That's the data feed that we use. It's not very good. It's cheap. You're welcome, buddy. All right, so BRZU, for disclosure purposes, we are long of BRZU. This puts you long of Brazil. Monthly chart's worthless here. All right, AMD. All right. This is a major breakout. I don't need to tell you, Oliver. I know you know that. But this is a major breakout for AMD. We'll go to that chart in a moment. All right, so BRZU, listen, long story short, it had a bad day today. We filled a gap. Here, and we closed there. Now, what might happen is a pullback and a retest down to this support level. Will I remain long if we fail to hold the support level? Probably not. I would probably look to not probably. I would definitely look to re-enter at the support level. The caveats that must be in place: 1, yields must be weak. 2, the dollar in particular must be weak. If the dollar, for whatever reason, gains strength, that would be a problem for anything emerging markets. Right now, the weak U.S. dollar is fueling the emerging market rally. So I'm going to give it a little bit of breathing room here. It was extended. It's pulling back some. It's extremely volatile. You need to stay small, nibble, nibble, nibble. But that doesn't mean we're going to ride it all the way back down to a retest of support. That I won't do. TMQ. Jesus, another metals play in fuego. Folks, the markets, how many stocks have I pulled up so far in the mining and metal sector, and it's just on fire. So the one thing I would want to make sure is this, is that we close above this blue line here at around $2.24. All right, so me personally, I want to make sure that we close above the support level. Retest ideally next month. Good long entry from a risk reward perspective. Weekly chart. Same deal here. I think it's going higher. Here's monthly resistance overlaid on a weekly chart now. We'll take it off, put it back on. This is a major, major resistance level, but it's a good ways away. It would have easily a 4 handle on it. Now, here's where there's a bit of resistance at around $2.73. Between 260, 273 resistance. Daily chart. Huge day today. I couldn't buy the stock. It doesn't mean it's not going up tomorrow, but the discipline is I don't buy stocks that are trading above the 3rd standard deviation Bollinger Band. It closed well above it today. I think that you're probably going to get a pullback, if not tomorrow, sometime in the very near future. I'd be looking for this price point at or around $2.22 as an entry point or a place to add to your position. I like the stock. I think it goes higher. Hey, Manoj. We'll do two more stocks. We'll go over NLOK for Manoj, and we'll go over AMD for Oliver. AMD. Keep in mind that this stock is surging after hours. Where are we at now? 64.43. So it's up here at current. It's extended on a daily basis already, going into tomorrow, but it's probably going to go up higher. Unless this, just be careful that the overall market doesn't catch a cold. So the semi sector as a whole after hours is down after hours. So I wouldn't go chasing a morning rally here. I'd want to see how it closes, especially if the market is weak. It's hard to do a weekly analysis here because it's up. But you know what? Not really, because we've been talking about this stock. It's been showing a lot of resistance here. I've talked about this for several months, and now we've cleanly broken out above major resistance. This is a stock that, in all probability, is going a lot higher. And if this market sells off and AMD succumbs to it, and we retest, I pretty much, I'll bet you 22 cents that we're going to pull back and retest this support level. All right, so our alert set here for AMD. It's a good looking chart. Yeah, definitely a new bull market in the metals, Anthony, no doubt. Thanks, Pre-Drag. Yeah, folks, if you could smash that like button, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And thanks for spending some time on a beautiful summer night with me. Norton LifeLock. Interesting. Nice reversal off of support. Retest 1, retest 2. Jacked up higher, pull back orderly. No new monthly high. It's just stock that's healing. I don't like this. Let's get rid of this one. I like my support level better. I would want to know this. I would want to know if we rally Thanks for those likes, folks. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. What's my note here? That just tells me to be careful. Don't get too heavy. That note. We'll keep it active. I like the security plays. We just made decent money on CyberArk. So I'd watch for a breakout here. Let's go to a daily chart. Oh, before we leave here, this is what you want to see. It's a simple game. Same thing over and over again. We want to see higher lows. Do we have higher lows on price? Check that box. Do we have higher lows on Stokes? Check that box. Do we have higher lows in RSI? Check that box. So it's looking good. It's not ready to be bought yet. But first, before I make a final determination, daily chart, we want to keep an open mind here. If you were so inclined, you want to put on a position, you want to scratch the itch, I would strongly encourage, if you do, stay very, very small. Because these recovery plays, they can fade very easily. And keep it active for 5 days. Touch, bounce. There you go. So I'd wait for a pullback here, retest, nibble, stop loss on a failure to hold. Then, as we rally up and through this resistance level here, then you get more aggressive. And especially if you go from just putting in higher lows to then putting in the ever critical higher highs. You're welcome, Manoj. Anytime, brother. With that, folks, I'm going to say everybody have a great night. Thanks for all those likes. If I could ask you once again, please smash the like button. And everybody have a profitable trading day tomorrow, next week. Enjoy the weekend. Subscribe, like, whatever you're supposed to do on social media nowadays. And above all, be safe, be well. Have a great night.